What is up, guys? It's the PlayStation PG bringing you another Overwatch video. In the last video, we looked at the tutorial. Now, we're going to look at the practice range to check out heroes and their abilities, and more. So there are 24 heroes in this game, which is split into 4 categories. Offense, defense, tank, and support. I'll be going over to the offense heroes first, as I found out the hard way that if you stay in the practice range for too long, you'll automatically get kicked out. I probably don't have a lot of time to explain all this, so see you right there. I'll start with Genji. What Athena didn't explain in the tutorial is that some heroes have what's called passive abilities. But if you want my opinion, it's because Soldier 76 didn't have one. But Genji, as well as a few others, do have passive abilities. And if you press triangle while over a certain hero, you can see what kind of you can see what kind of abilities and attacks the that character has. For example, Genji's and weapons differ by hero. For example, Genji has the shurikens, and there are 2 ways of throwing them. Either like this, by holding down R2, or like this, by pressing L2. There are other heroes that have this way of shooting too. I'll go over them when we get to them. I'll also go over his passive ability, which is called Cyber Agility. When you press X on a wall, he'll climb up. And when you press the X button twice, you'll do a double jump, like this. And if you really want to, you can climb, then do a double jump to get to an area you're having trouble getting to, like this. See? There. And much like Soldier 76, Genji has his own set of special attacks. The first one, L1, is Swift Strike, where he just charges right into them, causing damage, with his little dagger. You can also use his little dagger to deflect by holding down R1. But however, when you see the little crosshair in the center of the screen, it's not just for aiming towards a specific target, which are hard to hit sometimes.
Target neutralized.
But also for where the deflecting bullet is going. For example, if you deflect this training bot's bullet at this angle, hold on. As you can see, it hits that training bot on the right, as opposed to the one closest to me. So if you're trying to deflect a particularly annoying enemy and kill them with their own weapons, then you have to make sure you're aiming straight at them. Especially when taking on a Bastion or Orisa. I'll go over those two in their own videos. But for now, let's just charge their own.
Double kill.
Here's the real thing. When you have his ultimate, Genji's ultimate is Dragon Blade, and you press triangle to unleash it. When you do, you'll shout and just slice through everything. And of course, you're also able to use Swift Strike and your deflect attack, because the Dragon Blade works much like the dagger, and its melee attack and actually the melee attack actually uses the dagger, which he uses for the Swift Strike and deflect. That is all for Genji. Next up is McCree.
Justice ain't gonna dispense itself.
Much like Genji, McCree has two ways to shoot his bullets. The first way is the normal way.
Call that a fair fight?
Real quick, McCree's melee is a punch directly at the target.
That'll learn you.
That was pretty cool. Now, the second way to shoot the bullets is by fanning the hammer, which is done by holding down L2 like this. Be warned that's a little hard to aim, because has a tendency to go up, to move slightly above the target. So what I like to do is hold slightly down on the right stick, so all my bullets, when I use the fan the hammer attack, always hits the target for an easy knockout. It may not work well on tanks or characters like Bastion and possibly some other heroes. It's still a great way to whittle down health and get yourself out of a pretty tricky situation. Another way to get out of a tricky situation is by pressing L1, which is called combat roll. And his R1 ability is a flashbang, which temporarily stuns the enemy, like this.
Hold up now.
Here's a little combo that a lot of gamers, including yours truly, like to use when playing as McCree. Flashbang, fan the hammer. Again, it may take practice on the aim with fan the hammer, but once you got it down, you're basically good to go. And there's an actual trophy you get by oh god, a little hit there.
Target down.
Did I just hear one of the robots swear? It might have been me. Anyway, there's a trophy you can get by interrupting an opponent's ultimate with the flashbang. And speaking of ultimates, McCree's Deadeye ultimate is called Deadeye. And which is much like Fan the Hammer, only much more deadly. If you hear
It's high noon.
Quadruple kill.
Someone call the Undertaker.
McCree will, when McCree says that, he's about to use his ultimate. Now originally it takes 0.8 seconds to fully lock on an enemy with low health, but Overwatch is planning to do a patch where it'll only take 0.2 seconds to lock onto an enemy with low health, which makes his ultimate even scarier, at least in my opinion. And you can bet your ass that you'll see me scrambling for my safety when you hear McCree say his iconic line, and when that patch comes around. And there will be other characters that will be affected by this next patch. Well, for now, let's look at Farah.
I will protect the innocent.
Farah also is another hero that has a passive ability, which is her hover jets. Much like Tails' flight ability in the Sonic the Hedgehog series, all you have to do is hold down X to fly. And also like Tails, it'll eventually start to descend. However, Farah's flying doesn't last nearly as long as Tails' flying. You can also use this ability, I think by holding down, yep, you can also do it by holding down L2. I just like to hold down X to get a jumping start. Sure, you can press X then hold L2, but if you want to make things easier, I just suggest holding down X the entire time. I'm not saying it requires practice to hold down L to fly with the L2 button, or press X then fly with the L2. I mean, it clearly doesn't, but I don't know, I just prefer holding down X. And if you want an extra boost to your flight, L1, which is called Jump Jet, will make you fly even higher. So if you thought Farah couldn't get any higher, then you're wrong. She's one of the only characters. I think she is the only character that can go to the top of the sky bound. That can actually touch the sky boundaries. Next up is her gun attack. Like her rocket launcher. But there's only one way to use it. The way I've been using it. And R1 is very annoying to have used against you, but very fun when you use it. It's a concussive blast. As you see, I literally knocked that training bot to his death by using it. But don't worry, he's alive and well. All training bots respawn here. Same with your opponents. When you eliminate an opponent, it will buy you extra time to get what you're doing. I know it's something else.
Right on target.
Because her rocket launcher explodes upon impact of the ground, the blast radius can actually damage you yourself. As you saw just now, it's essentially like using a move like Double Edge or Takedown, and getting hit with recoil damage. And now we have Farah's ultimate, the Rocket Barrage. Once activated with the triangle button, she'll scream,
Justice reigns from above.
and literally unleash a rain of rockets straight your way. Right. And if you're in the middle of the barrage, there's probably a 99% chance you're a goner. But be warned that don't use it at an angle like this, because much like her regular rocket attack, it'll also kill Farah herself. Now we're on to Reaper.
Death walks among you.
Have I ever mentioned how creepy Reaper's voice is? And much like, like, sorry, a bit of a video correction. Anyway, much like Genji and Pharah, Reaper also has a passive ability of his own. But before I do mention that, I'll go over his gun attack. His two giant ass shotguns. See this red orb? His passive ability is called the Reaping. If he catches that orb while he took damage, when he took damage before, he'll actually heal himself. And in early stages of Overwatch development, they intended for Mercy to be unable to revive I have a certain character if Reaper already took that orb. Because I'll go over this later, but real quick, when you're playing as Mercy and someone dies, you'll see a yellow orb, much like the red orb. If you can get to it in time, she'll be able to use her ultimate to bring the character back. But if Reaper gets to the ball all before Mercy can, she can't do it. I probably should have discussed this while playing as Mercy, but I figured I'd say it now. Also, take the damage real quick. See, that just healed. Next up is his Wrath form. Holding down L1 will make him temporarily invincible. However, you can't attack when in Wrath form. Next
Death comes.
Is his teleport ability. Pressing R1 and then R2 in a specific position, you can teleport. Sorry, I yawned a bit. You can teleport Reaper in the direction you want to go. Although, a lot of people don't use this because it does take time for Reaper to actually put it in place. I've seen a lot of people use this ability only to die. Unexpectedly. Heck, even I experienced it, believe it or not. I don't know if it actually happened in one of my videos, but if it did, then, well, you see my point. Now, I'm going to go over his ultimate, Death Blossom. I can't even imagine being in the middle of this guy when he does this. When you see Reaper surrounded by black smoke, and you hear him say,
Die, die, die.
Triple kill.
He's
Are you
after
even
you.
trying?
And more often than not, then you'll have no choice but to listen to him and die. There's also a trophy for Reaper called Waste Not, Want Not. It's where you kill 3 targets, with a single use of I don't know why I keep yawning. But, basically, according to the description of the trophy, you kill your enemy by using a single, quote-unquote, clip of Reaper's shotgun. I don't know if that means you kill 3 enemies before you reload, or if you need to kill them with only 1 shooting. I don't know. If someone can clarify that, let me know in the comments below. We already talked about Soldier 76 in the tutorial, so I don't think that's necessary. Next up, we have Sombra,
Everything
which is
can
pretty
be
fun
hacked,
to use,
and
but it's
everyone.
pretty frustrating to go up against. Her passive ability is Opportunist. see that robot? Training bot over there? What? And see how we can see it? And from behind the wall? Her passive ability is Opportunist, in which she has the ability to see enemies with low health behind walls. A great way to finish off enemies, but is very frustrating when having to deal with it. You could be like, I don't know, literally just walking around, like nothing, fighting your way to survive, only for Sombra to come out of nowhere and just end you. First I'll go over her little gun here. It fires pretty rapidly.
Ay, pobrecito.
And does a lot of damage. Pretty overpowered. L1 makes you invisible, but luckily your teammates can still see you. But Sombra will have a purple glow to it, and it doesn't last very long. And I've heard someone say that at Blizzard, when Sombra was first created, Blizzard actually made her invisibility last longer. I don't know. Again, I'd appreciate it if someone clarifies it in the comments. And R1 unleashes her translocator, which is a lot like Reaper's teleportation, but much better and much faster.
Always leave yourself a back door.
But you have a limited amount of time to use it. To use it, press R1 again.
I'm out of here.
And remember, the translocator doesn't have to land and be. You can use the translocator while it's still in the air. Watch.
Ahorita regreso. See you later.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. Her final ability, L2, is hacking. She can either attack health packs, so only your team can use them, and it charges faster. Or you can hack someone like this guy. But as you can see, it does nothing. But when you use it against an actual enemy in actual gameplay, it prevents the one that you hacked from using the L1 or R1 abilities, and even their ultimate. It's very broken, but very useful if you want to get you or your entire team out of a tight spot. And her final, well, most insane ability is her ultimate EMP, in which she'll unleash a huge hacking wave, hacking everyone around her.
Apagando las luces.
But as you can see, it didn't work. If you have your, so if Sombra has her EMP entirely charged, and your team is on the verge of failing, whether it be the payload is about to approach its destination, or you're about to run out of time, use the EMP. Now, finally, for the final offense hero, at least until the next one's introduced, Tracer.
Cheers, love! The cavalry's here!
Tracer is one of the most fun of all the heroes. Not just because of her little quips. It's like the one when she says when she's selected. But because of her abilities and her weapon, or weapons. Much like Reaper, Tracer holds two guns at the same time, which are called Pulse pulse pistols. I'm close enough. They fire very rapidly and do lots of damage. Pretty overpowered, but the ammo goes away quick, as you saw just now. Tracer's L1 ability is Blink, which makes her run at a speed comparable to Sonic. And she can use it up to 3 times in quick succession. Pressing L1. Pressing R1 is recall.
Ever get that feeling of deja vu?
Oh, I know recall sounds inconvenient to use to a new player. Believe me, it certainly seemed that way to me. But, watch this.
Let's try that again.
I almost got shot, but I swiftly used the recall to get myself out of there. Recall can also recover lost health that you lost in that specific span of time.
Just in time.
Now to charge up the... Yeah, sorry for forgetting about showing her melee attack. Hero's melee attacks. So, here's what her Tracer's ultimate is.
Nailed it. Smashing.
Tracer's Pulse Bomb. It can stick to an enemy or land in a specific spot, then blow up, usually ending in the target's demise. But be warned. Much like Barra's ultimate, Barra's barrage ultimate, Tracer's Pulse Bomb can also one-hit Tracer herself. Well, so I suggest throwing down a Pulse Bomb and trying to stick it to a target, then get out of there by either using the Blink or the Recall. Real quick, I'll go over the melees for
I will
for
protect the innocent.
There is a punch, much like Kree. Reaper's is...
walks among you.
Reaper's melee is elbowing the target. And Sombra's
Everything can be hacked,
melee
and everyone.
is thrusting a gun into someone. I think so that's gonna do it for this video.
Cavalry's
Join me
here.
next time where we go over the defense heroes.